Cool. So we're recording. Okay. So now that we're inside of here, I just want someone explain to me how I'm getting pig inside of my card, where it's coming from. Someone explain to me that workflow of what's going on. I like Daniel, if he's there.
I took a big bite of pizza.
Well, I'm gonna wait. I don't know how long it'll take you to eat that big pie of pizza. Okay, so let's start from the parent container with Hannah.
Well, it looks like pigs, like all pigs are getting saved in app.js's state.
Yep.
And
So
that's getting passed to the container.
Yep.
And there's a map.
How is it getting passed to the container?
On line 30 in app, we have props all pigs.
Oh, that's not on my line 30. If it's on your line 30.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, it might be a little different on mine.
But yeah, so you have this prop that you called all pigs, and you're sending that in to your pigs container. Cool. Someone take it over from there. James.
So then in your pigs container, using props, you map through all of the pigs to get a single iteration of each pig, and then you pass that through using props to the pig card.
Cool. My steed. My faithful steed.
Okay. So where were we? Sorry.
So explain to me how an individual pig is getting passed all the way into pig card.
We set the state of pig in app.js. Then we're sending it to pig card via props.
Getting it straight to pig card from app?
No. We're going to pig container,
Yep.
right? And then into pig card.
Yep.
And we're mapping through it. I think in the pig card, did we map through it to get the individual pig?
This is a good concept. The map is happening in our pigs container. Once we send it into our pigs container, we're going to map over all of them. And then for each of them, we're going to return a pig card. And then each pig card is going to have a property called pig of the particular pig that we're iterating through. Does that make sense?
Got it.
Cool. Great. So now we're in our pig card, right? The next thing I was gonna show you is how I could clean this up. So let's say if I were to console.log, just out of curiosity, and let's do it on a component.did mount. Actually, I don't even need to console log it. What do you think this props, if I were to console log this dot props, what would it look like? So this dot props is just an object, right? So if I were to console.log this dot props, it would look something like this. And I'm gonna delete this immediately so I don't fucking break shit. But if I were to console.log this dot props, what are my props? First of all, I have pig, right? And then whatever pig I'm sending in, it's gonna be that object, right? That is a terrible way to represent what an object is, but you get the idea. So the idea is, I hope you get the idea at least. The idea is that all my props all that I passed in was this variable pig, and then pig has, then pig is an object, right? Cool. I just wanted you guys to understand maybe a little bit about that for a second so I could show you how I'm going to clean this up. The next thing I'm going to teach you is I'm going to go a little bit deeper into this concept called destructuring. Let's make an object. Let's say our object is fruits. And then inside of fruits, let's say const fruits equals an object. And then maybe we'll say like apples. And then apples is going to be like I don't know, vanilla apples, red delicious apples, maybe Macintosh apples. Cool. And then maybe we'll have grapes. And then grapes will be, you know, let's see, white, red. Sure, that's good enough for now. Whoops. Oh, fucked up something. Can you guys still see my screen?
Yeah.
Cool. Something got weird there. Good here. So let's see. So there we go. We have our fruits. Cool. So I am just going to show you a concept called destructuring. So let's say I want to pull apples out of my fruits and make a new variable called apples. I could do it like this, right? I could say let apples equal fruits. And then we could say what? Oh, I'm sorry. Fruits dot apples, right? Apples equals that. I'm sure y'all know how to do that though, right? That's pretty easy. So the next way to do the same exact thing as let apples equal fruits dot apples is with this concept called destructuring. So destructuring would be this. Apples. And actually I'm going to do it with grapes just so you know that it works and that it's not just like the previous definition working. It's going to be this. Oops, grapes equals fruits, right? So what this is saying is that make a new variable called grapes and set that variable equal to the grapes key of fruits. Let's see if it worked. If I type in grapes here, what do you guys expect? See that? See how that worked? So now let me ask you a question. We have a thing called this dot props, right? Let's actually see what it, oh, it won't actually say anything. I'm not going to go and change that. But let's say we have our props. I'm just going to write properties, right? And right now, our properties equals something like this. Pig. And then inside of that is going to be this. It's going to be just an object, right? Bam. Cool. That's what our properties look like, right? So what is a fancy way that I could pull pig? If I wanted to create a new variable inside of here, how could I pull that out of my properties? Someone help walk me through that.
Oh, I think there's probably a couple ways you could do it.
Let's use this destructuring way.
Yeah, but even still, so like I think you could do like, oh, I was thinking of the actual pigs up top. So there you would just do
Yeah, I mean,
curly brace pig, and then close it equals properties.
beautiful. And then if it worked, then I get an empty object. Perfect, great. I just think it's worth taking that and practicing it a few times. You can also do the same thing with an array. Something trippy that I'm about to blow your mind with is you can sort of think of an array as an object where each index is a number. So in other words, you could think of an array as like an object where it's like, oh, okay, key 1 is like 1. For now, I'm going to use a string. Well, no, I don't know that it'll work. One, maybe it will work. 1, and then whatever is inside of your thing. So like, let's say blah, blah, blah. Right? Yeah. Cool. So let's say like this is kind of how your array works, where it's like each index of the array is really like a key and a hash. Does that make sense? It's kind of trippy. It's basically the same thing though. just written different. And the reason why that matters is, let's say you want to destructure an array. It actually works kind of similarly. Let's say I have an array of like array equals, and I actually used to do this in MATLAB when I was like in chemical engineering and I didn't even know it. But yeah, let's say array equals this, where we're going to say term 1, term 2, something like that. Cool. Oops. Great. Oh. I didn't have to write let. That's weird. Anyways, so what I could do here is I can sit here and say, this is kind of cool, right? I could go term 1, term 2, or I'm going to do let term 1, term 2 equal array. And now if I were to write term 1, I've now specified what term 1 is. And now term 2, see what I did there? It just works with both arrays and hashes. It's just that with an array, it's just the order that you put them. It's pretty, I think it's pretty cool. You don't use that one as much. You're going to use the object destructuring all the time. So it's definitely worth getting familiar with. Sorry if I took too much time on that. We can go back to Reacty stuff since we still got plenty to do in React.
No, that was helpful, man. Thanks.
Okay, cool. Good, good, good. Great. So now we're back here. I'm going to show you what I'm about to do and why I even showed you that in the first place. See how I have this.props.pig.image? Well, what if this.props is just an object, right? So just like I did with properties, now what I could do is I could actually just do this. Pig, and I have to do a let or a const here. That should work. And then now I don't need any of this. And it should still work. And doesn't that look a whole lot cleaner?
Could you even do one more and say const pig equals this.props.pig?
I'm sorry, what do you mean?
Um,
Oh, you're saying, yeah, like, are you saying, could I just do like const image? Yeah, you could do that. You could say image, and then you could even do this if you wanted to get fancy. Name, weight, those are the only three we use. This.props.pig would totally work. Glad that you gave that a shot. Let's see if it works first, but it'll work. And look how much cleaner that looks. You're not going to get point stocked if you don't do that, but it's definitely something worth doing. I think it's just cool, honestly. And yeah, it still works. Great. Kind of neat, right? If you do that on your code challenge, your instructors will be impressed. And then maybe I'll get hired. Just kidding. But yeah. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Alrighty, so now we have our cards. What's the next thing we have to do? Let's go to our notes here. So we got some pigs from the back end. We rendered all pigs onto the page. Next, we have to favorite a pig. We're not very far on this code challenge, I'm not gonna lie. But I think it's better to take time and like really understand the concepts, in my opinion. So now we have to favorite a pig. So first of all, we're gonna need a way to click a pig. So let's say we want like, let's make a button for that. This is not how it works on the code challenge, but we're gonna do it this way because I like it more. Say, whoops. Button. I'm gonna say, adopt me. Cool. Now let's see if our pigs. Oh, cool. Adopt me. Great. Pigs. Great. Well, first we would need to actually make. If we're gonna be able to put pigs in our pig pen, we probably need to make a pig pen first, right? So maybe that's a good place to start. So let's go ahead and make a new component. I'm going to call it the pig pen. Actually, we can put that in the container. Cool. So now inside of our pig pen, what we have to do is, well, we have to make it a component first. Is a pig pen going to be a functional component or a class component, and why? Things are about to get a little tricky in a second. So I'm going to get some water real quick. I'll be right back. I've been sitting in this chair for a while.
All right.
Fair enough. So do you guys have the pigs showing up on your screen?
Yeah, I mean the images are broken, but then it's got its name and its weight or age or something, and then 2 buttons.
For some reason, I'm not getting anything, even though there's no errors.
So then you may just in your you may just not have in your app.js do you have the pigs container component taking in all pigs? I think you actually said you did when John asked. So
Yeah, I have like pigs container. It is taking in all pigs, and then in the pigs container component, I have here's some pigs, and then under that, make some pig cards with parentheses.
You want to share your screen?
Sure, I just didn't want to waste any time from the teaching.
That's okay. There's like 3 of us.
It says host disabled.
No, I know. I got to enable you.
Okay.
Go for it. Oh, wait. Now go for it.
So I'm not getting any errors. Like, but none of the pigs are showing up.
Okay. So you have your pig card. You get your pig card in. Let's look. Are you passing in your props to your pig card? Pig. Why don't you go ahead and...
Sorry to interject, but I think you're just missing a return on line 9. Like, yeah, right there.
Yeah, you are missing a return. Yep.
And open a parentheses.
Nope, that did it.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
let's talk about that for a second. Let's make that a teachable moment.
I was thinking of Ruby where
where it's implicit.
return is implied, so I kind of forget where I have to do it sometimes.
So you want me to show you a secret? You could actually make this return implied in JavaScript as well. And the difference is basically the curly brackets after the fat arrow. So why don't you go ahead and delete that return and go all the way up to the last line. Yep. Now delete the curly brackets around it. Yep. It still work. Refresh.
Oh, okay.
So that's how your implicit returns work. If your fat arrow is pointing straight to the thing that you're returning, then that's your implicit return.
Okay.
But if you need to like execute more functional code, if you need to execute like more complicated stuff, Then you have to wrap it in brackets. So maybe it's like, okay, maybe I have 2 steps or something like that. Or maybe I want to like console log something and then I want to return something. So that's when you would add those curly brackets to be like, okay, let me make this longer.
All right. And then just, I'm noticing that it's saying each thing needs a key. Don't we also need the key for when we want the buttons to do stuff? So it knows like which pig?
Oh, like an ID or something? I can't remember.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not even getting that error.
Huh.
But yeah, you probably should have like a ID on. But that's the thing is, I don't know that you would need it there. I don't know. What does it say? Each iterator should
Child
have
in an array, yeah.
check it. What's weird is I've run into that error in Vue, and I know how to fix it in Vue. I'm not sure exactly what it wants here. Maybe it just wants like
Well,
an.
it's just a warning, so we don't have to address it right now. I was just bringing it up because I know in the code challenge and in other examples that I've seen, you had to like do key equals
ID, like pig
pig
thing.
ID, and then that way you could know
Yeah, that's
what ID is
that's
associated
really
with.
similar to how you would do it in Vue. Actually, I've just never done that in React, but I'm gonna change it in mine. I'm not even getting that warning, but it might just be like my settings. So let me actually do that in mine. I think it's probably good practice if I'm gonna be honest. So
I'll give the screen back to you.
yeah, sure. Key equals pig.id. And I think that key, what it is it's just React's way of distinguishing which pig card is which. So you're going to have a bunch of pig cards. So which one is which? Really glad we talked about that. Thank you. I need to revoke hosts.
And don't forget to share your screen.
Yeah, I need to like revoke, reclaim host. There it is. Cool. Great. So I added it to mine because, yeah, I think it's probably good practice. That's a good idea. Glad I learned from all these because there's all these issues that there's little things that you don't remember, and that's one of the things that's definitely like probably a good idea to do in practice. So anyways, we got our pig cards. I'm going to move a little faster because I technically am going to start driving to Colorado tomorrow. So
Yeah. Nice, dude.
I got to get some sleep at some point. But yeah, so let's go to our pig pen. Let's go ahead and import React from React. Oh gosh. Great. Are we going to make this a function component or a class component?
Well, is it possible it needs to be a class because we're going to have to change what it's holding if the user wants to remove a pig from the pin?
Let's do it without making it a class just because you wanted to make it a class.
Fair enough.
I actually think it's the right thing to do is to not make it a class. But I think that this is what kind of makes it teachable is that you think that you need to store that state in there, but you actually don't. And we'll show you how. I'll show you how. Export default function. Whoops. I'm going to call it pigpen. Props. Bam. Return some JSX. So here we're going to say, let's make it a section, class name, tools. Pigpen. Cool. And then for now, we'll just put H2, where we're going to say, holy shit, dude. Why do you have pigs? You're not even a farmer. Cool. And then let's get that on the page by putting it. Where do you think this would go? You think it would go before or after? Oh, I'm sorry, it would go on our app, right? It would go on our app, and would it go before? Where would it go in this? What line should I put it on?
Before.
Yeah, before which now?
Before pigs container.
Beautiful. And what's it called? Pigpen. And then what error am I going to run into when I do this?
Didn't import it.
I'm just going to do it. And where is it? Should be from / containers / pigpen. Now let's see if we got a pigpen on there. Woo. Holy shit, dude, why do you have pigs? You're not even a farmer. Great. So we have some pigs. Cool. So we need to make it to where when we hit this button, we get some pigs, right? In our pig pen. Well, what's the first thing we have to think about? We don't really even have to think about our pig pen yet. What have I told you about the way state works here, right? So state is in our app, right? Then we have two containers. Boom, we have pig pen. Yeah, I wrote it. And our pig container, right? So if all my state is in here, I can just pass it to either one. So what about if instead of tracking state inside of my app, I track it, inside of my pig pen to know what's going in the pig pen? What if I just track that in my app? What if I just say, oh, it's there, it's stuck there, oh God, oh God. Sorry, it's a little buggy, although it's better than Jamboard. So what I really want is actually state here. I want to say all pigs. Well, maybe I can get a favorite pig then. Right? Boom. Boom. Bam. Cool. So now instead of tracking that inside of our pig pen, I'm just going to, or we'll, let's call this pigs in my pen. Or we'll call it pen pigs. Sure. Great. So now we need to figure out a way to actually change this from, and this is the challenge. How do I make it to where when I hit adopt me, it actually updates my state in app, right? How do I do that? So the way that you do this in React is by creating a function inside of app. So, and this is the trickiest part, I think, of everything, right?
This is where I got stuck.
Yeah, and that's okay. This is the trickiest part of everything. But once you get it, is the best way I can describe it. Probably running out of time here, but we'll finish. I promise we'll get through this. So I remember this being a struggle for me too. So plus you guys kind of got gypped out of a couple days there. It seemed like. But anyways, so what I have to do now is create a function inside of app that updates the state of app, and specifically of pen pigs. All right, so let's create a function. Let's say add, oh, we never made this a class component, so let's make it a class component. Oh, it is, class app extends. I'm sorry, it is a class component. Okay, cool. So we're gonna say we need a function inside of here. So let's call it add pen pig, right? Let's just make it a ES6 function. Cool. So now what we want to do is we want to input an argument of pig. And then all that we're doing, just like anywhere else, is we're saying this dot set state, and then pen pigs. And then this is where things are going to get a little weird. We're going to do this. I'm just going to write it first, and then I'm going to explain it. Okay, so who thinks that they can explain what I just did? Sorry. Anybody?
Well, so
Let's
I
do
mean,
a simpler example first, unless you feel confident about that. But I think we actually should do a simpler thing first. Let's just create a thing called toggle, and we're going to set it to false here, right? What I'm going to show you here is let's now toggle the toggle. Or I'm just going to say toggle it. Cool. And we're going to make this a function. This dot, whoops, yeah. This dot set state. This is going to seem a little weird too. Okay, so here's what I'm saying. If I invoke this function called toggle, and what I'm going to first do is make a button on here, but then I'm gonna increase the complexity and make it increasingly more complex so maybe you guys can understand it. So first I'm just going to start with a button here called toggle, which you guys should understand what's going on, right? Button, and then we're going to make an on-click function, and then we're going to call the function toggle it, right? Which is going to be this dot toggle it. Cool. Great. So now what I want to do is just show you what that's doing first before anything. So I have this toggle button. If I go to app, I might have fucked something up. Oh no, it's working. It's just going really slow. So you see how when I hit toggle, cool, it changed it from true to false. Now it's going from false to true. And all that that's doing is here, what you're saying is, I'm setting the state of toggle to the opposite of what the state of toggle was before. Make sense? Cool. So now what I want to do is, what if I told you that I could get these buttons to do the same exact thing that that button is doing, even though they're in a lower component? That's what I'm gonna show you first with toggle. So the first thing that we have to do is now pass this in as a prop. We have to pass this function down as a prop. So let's pass it just down to pigs container for now. Okay. So
Like you're passing a prop from a lower component to a higher component?
From a higher component, I'm passing it from app down to pigs container.
Oh.
Yeah. So let me make this a little cleaner. This is how you should start writing your code when it starts getting a little messy. Although actually we don't need on that one. But pigs container will want that. So now we can kind of do this. Bam. And then we also want to pass in a function here to like maybe do the toggle, right? So let's say toggle function is our prop, and it's going to equal this dot toggle it. Cool. Then what I can do is I can go into my pigs container, and now I have that function in my props. Cool. So while I'm here, let's make a button. Oops. Oh my gosh, my typing. And then this one we're going to say on click. And now I'm getting it from the props. So I'm going to say props. I think I called it toggle function.
Less than a minute on the video.
Okay, I'll finish it up. But I think I can actually finish this up real quick. So toggle from container. Great. So now let's try it real quick, see if it works. Oh my gosh, the pressure. See that? So now, even though I passed it down all the way into pigs container, it actually updated it from where the function was specified. Does that make sense? And that's a pretty big concept. And if you ever hear Kyle talk about closure, this is a great example of why closure is a great thing sometimes. Now with that, I'm going to end the video.